Off your podcast, yo, this wrong. Rob, man, Ryan taking over the mic. There are a few sports and the stories ignite. Rocking the house, we're taking flight. Turn it out loud, let's amplify. Podcast moving, reaching to the sky. Crank up the volume, here it's reunite. Join the ride, we won't deny.
G'day guys, welcome back to the show. We're your hosts. I'm Bakes.
I'm Sarge sometimes.
And I'm Grubby.
And we're the Beta Mafia. And tonight we are joined by someone that's been on the episode a few times now. He's starting to become a regular. He's also the sponsor of the show. It's Todd from Jackalope. How you going, buddy?
Hello, boys. How are you?
Well,
mate.
welcome in, mate. We had to get that episode 69.
Yes.
Yes, I made it.
69, dude. I didn't even realise it was episode 69 until I was getting set up. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, it's episode 69. We could have done something really weird with this episode.
I reckon
mate.
it'll turn out being weird. Don't worry.
Oh, we can do it next week.
I was going to say.
We'll do it next week because there's three of us. We'll do it 69 plus 1.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll even wear a condom over me lenses.
Filthy. Well, I said hopefully next time we all come back on the stream, we'd all be winners, but apparently there's only one of us that are winners. The rest of us are just, well, two of us are losers and the other one's just a draw.
Yeah.
You're a loser. If you're not a winner, you're a loser.
I mean,
boys, I'd like to think that everyone's a winner, but in a much more accurate way, I'm a winner. And I'll take it where I can get it. It was pretty unconvincing, but it was. And we'll probably drop our marbles against Sydney this week. So,
Everyone gave winning a fair crack, though.
Yeah. It was pretty
a lot
good
closer
games
than I
that
thought
weekend.
a lot of the games were going to be, especially ours.
the Lions game should not have been a draw. That's a good signs to not clean
Where
up.
was that played at as well? I didn't see.
That was away for the Lions, I believe.
Oh, okay. So, it was in Tassie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That explains everything.
Boys, mate.
Yes, that's right. We were talking about that. It being in Tassie, that it was going to be
the cold weather.
a bit more even because it's fucked down there.
Yeah.
Cold and it gets windy and bloody.
Did anyone watch the Richmond versus GWS game earlier in the year? Down there?
The one where
It was a Richmond? Yeah.
The one with the wind.
No. Hawthorn. Sorry, Hawthorn GWS down there.
Yeah.
The one with the fucking ridiculous wind.
That was out of control.
And it was like 10 goal quarter the other way. It was like,
They were having shots and they're kicking it about 20 metres out and just watching it just...
Yes.
It was
Jesus.
unbelievable.
Wow.
Extraordinary game.
Oh, insane.
They wouldn't know what to do. They're used to playing in big stadiums or under roof or, they don't get the kind of wind and they got to change, so... Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, they still make it look easy.
They're building a whole new stadium, aren't they, in Tassie?
Supposed to be.
The Tassie team.
They are.
Yeah.
So,
They're going to need to.
Yeah.
Because, why wouldn't you just, add some stands to what's existing? It's And I think they're going to put it on the water down at Hobart, which I don't know if you've been down there, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's like really old sort of, going back to convict days and stuff. Anything they're going to do is just going to destroy the whole vibe of that waterfront area. But
How big's the cricket ground down there?
I think that's Ninja Stadium now. That's Bellerive Oval. So that's
it is, isn't it? Yeah.
That's where they're playing footy. I think it might be like low 20s, something like that, which
it's not
isn't bad. Well, when they built Gold Coast Stadium and GWS, they had this model. So they're actually, while they look slightly different, they're still pretty much the same stadium. And I think they hold 25, and that's what they sort of said, okay, well, there's room to build more stands as they grow, but they thought 25,000, there's no point building a 50,000 seat stadium for a growing area where there's going to be, like Gold Coast, you get like 8,000 people there and it looks half empty and looks rubbish.
We could lend them some tarps if they did.
Yes. Yeah, that's the old Port Adelaide special. There you go. No one goes. You just put the tarps over the seats.
Oh,
These
man.
those days, that was wild, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy time.
But I've been to some pretty. It's like when I go to the cricket go see like the Big Bash, and they put everyone on one side of the ground. So when the cameras, it looks like it's full, but it's the other side's completely empty.
That's clever.
Which one's that, Doug? The
What's that? The Big Bash?
when you go to the Big Bash, yeah.
Yeah, the Gabba.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I've been to games where it's been half. I go and it's normally a decent crowd, but yeah, there's been a few times I've gone and literally the outer side, the Vulture Street side is just empty. No one in there.
Yeah, okay. I suppose the Big Bash, their game when the season kicks off, they run Monday to Sunday.
Yeah,
don't they? So midweek games would probably be a little bit more quieter as well.
I think in a more logical way they probably do it so they don't have to open up more kiosks and have more staff and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The Gabbos they still getting an upgrade to the Olympics, aren't they?
No, the shit can't. They're going to build at Victoria Park near the hospital. So near the the golf course and that near the hospital. So they're building this stadium and it actually partly goes over the inner city bypass. It's extraordinary. So it's it's going to look pretty weird, but I think it needs it. Like the Gabba's pretty tired, and I don't know if you boys have ever been. I know some of you have, but it actually goes over. The grandstands go over the road outside, so it's really got Vulture Street and Stanley Street. You drive under the stands as they angle back, but there's really no room, nowhere to go. And
it's pretty enclosed too on those sides as well.
Yeah, that's it. It's right up to the street on three sides, and on the fourth side there's a primary school that they were going to knock over, and it's about 150 years old. And you sit there and think, man, that's dating back to the Sir Joe days of knock over anything that's old and build it new. But so in a way, I'm glad. But I would say that they put a whole heap of money into a cross river rail and all sorts of stuff, literally stopping in the Gabba for the Olympics, and now they're just shit-canning the whole thing. So you're going to have the greatest transport in the world to go to the Gabba, and in 5 years' time, no one will be going there because footy will be played at the big park. So
yeah.
So sorry, they're actually going to knock over the Gabba. So
that's what that was my next question, because there was talks of
knock it over for apartments. That's how they're going to try and pay for this other stadium. They'll knock it over and build apartments because it's right on the edge of the city, and it's
That's same thing they did with Amy Stadium here.
Yeah, at West, it just didn't make any sense it being at Westlake or out there. It was just
it was always so weird.
The city.
Yeah, it was. It's like Adelaide Oval's the perfect spot.
Yeah, it is.
Smack bang in the middle of the city. After the game, you can go into town and
it's in a perfect spot of the city too, because it's like it's on the outskirts, but it's like in between North Adelaide, and it's just that right on the edge of where the transport all congregates. It's
got a really good park area too.
Westlake was such a pain in the ass to get out of as well. Like as soon as the game was over, that was it. Like
fucking nightmare of a joy.
That was it. You may as well just sit in your car and wait for a good hour and a half.
Well, it's funny, depending on where you're going when you leave Adelaide Oval, if you drive, it's actually not that bad to get out either.
Yeah.
Because everyone's dispersing it at different directions. There's a couple of ways that are a bit shit, but...
There's only like 4 roads in Adelaide, isn't there, mate? Like,
pretty much, yeah. Our roads aren't like everyone else's.
No, you got
get lost on our roads.
One way fucking. You got one motorway and it's one way, mate. It's one way in the morning and it's they turn around the other way in the afternoon.
It's our biggest claim to fame, the Southern Expressway.
Yeah.
It would be a good flex too. I would be happy to drive around Adelaide, Brisbane. I don't even like fucking visiting there as a passenger. It's
you get used to it, but
it's
pretty hectic. And as soon as something like where I live, it's the 2 busiest arterial roads in the city. So if something goes wrong, it's literally like I went out. I live on a quiet little side street, and I went to the end of my street, and it was just gridlock in every direction because there was some accident on the Centenary Bridge, and it just completely screws it. And it was it went for about 2 hours. Like people are just because as soon as traffic backs up, everyone tries to rat run it, and every street just gridlocks. It's crazy.
It's insane. We
it's
don't
a permanent
get
thing now on the highway, especially if you were coming back from Brisbane or even North Lakes nowadays.
Yeah, on the Bruce, man.
It's
you don't
every
want to be taking
time
Gateway.
around 3 to 4, or it's even earlier than 3 o'clock nowadays.
Gateway after 2, mate. You don't want to go anywhere near it. But Adelaide. I enjoyed living in Adelaide because it was pretty breezy. They've got their sort of square block, and then all the main roads angle out on a 45 from it.
Yep.
So little bit of fully useless trivia tonight. It's actually the same town planner as the guy that did Christchurch, and in my understanding, it's actually pretty much the same layout as Christchurch in New Zealand. So,
oh wow, I've been to Christchurch, but I was like 10.
Yeah,
I didn't take too much notice of the city.
He wasn't an ideas man. He just did the same fucking thing twice. So.
Just kept using the same fucking same route.
Submitting the same piece of paper. It's just got Adelaide crossed out on it.
Good all the. Why are there all these rubber marks on here? It's all right, don't worry about it.
It's similar because it's pancake flat, whereas obviously Brisbane, it's not. It's hills everywhere, mate. So that's
especially around like Red Hill area as well, where the Broncos.
Yeah, Red Hill and Paddington and stuff. You want to see some of those streets? They're like that. It's just out of control.
Oh, I would. Yeah, no, no thanks.
So I'm near there. I'm just a little bit further west in that. So that's near my hood, Paddington, and all that sort of stuff. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck, I've never driven in Brisbane. I've driven on the Gold Coast. That's bad enough. That's bad. That's far worse than our traffic here, and I'm like, no, that's enough.
No, not a fan of the Gold Coast, man, at all. It's not really my thing. But I figured I took the kids there for holidays last year, and it sort of made sense then because the kids you you get a place sort of close to Cavill Ave, and the kids can just go and do their thing, and it's so that kind of made sense to me then. But the idea of me going there for a holiday, probably not. But yeah.
Last time I was on the Gold Coast, me and Rob fucking cross-eyed.
Smashed. Oh, that video, that chick when I fucking bumped into her, that was so fucking funny.
That was
I made out I was deaf.
I that's right, yes. I'd literally just gotten back from Singapore the week before, and I went up to I went up to this busker who was playing the guitar, and I gave him all my Singapore money as a tip.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, fuck. I don't think I'm allowed back at the Gold Coast legally.
Oh, that was funny that night.
So,
yeah. That was a good night. Before I forget about it, I've been thinking about this ever since we spoke about the tarps. I remember watching a Port game. I can't remember who they were playing against, but it was one game, and the ball got kicked into the middle of where the tarps were, and the two security guards were trying to get to the ball, but they couldn't get over the tarps. It was hilarious.
Get the big broomstick out.
Yeah.
I think the ones where they've got someone to go underneath and just bang.
Yeah, I think that's what they ended up doing.
Yeah.
Just throw a ball at it, and they're just getting all these balls stuck.
Show off.
It's like the construction, like at Ballarat, it goes over and there's just nothing. They've just got a few construction guys in there just, having smoko, and they've got to go and find the footy in the mud. So it's, yeah. But we don't have to, Gabba doesn't get massive crowds. The thing that gets me is it fits 36,000 and you try and get a ticket and they're like, no, it's a sellout. It's a sellout.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And then you're looking at it's like 31,000. You think, well, fuck. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing worse when you see a game like they say it's a sellout and there's empty seats everywhere and it's like, are you fucking serious? Like, right? And that's some members that just don't go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just
a waste. Yeah.
Yeah, but you sit there and go, they give a crowd of 31,000. You think 5,000 members didn't show? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But
I spoke to a couple of people about that. There's a bloke from down in Melbourne who he supports. I don't know who, North Melbourne maybe. I'm not sure. And he buys like members tickets every year, but he never goes to the game. I said, "Why do you buy the members ticket?" He said, "I said in case we make the grand final and I get first crack at the."
North Melbourne.
Yeah, well, that was. I was like, "That's actually a pretty good joke. I'll pay that." He's like, "No, I'm serious." I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, that's very smart."
Oh yeah, very good.
Well, money well spent.
If there was ever a team you could just roll up on the day and get a ticket, it'd be North Melbourne. So
yeah. Might want to remind him that Wayne Carey retired like 25 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
I'm fairly certain it was North Melbourne because I had a laugh to myself when he said it. So I think it definitely was.
Does anyone ever wonder about John Longmire? He obviously played for North Melbourne. You sit there and go his whole career, and then he's coaching, and he's just known as Horse. And no one seems to, everyone keeps a straight face. Like he's fucking 50-something years old, Horse.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
I wonder what that's all about.
I could be wrong. Maybe he likes people jumping on his back. But as far as I'm concerned, there's only one reason people get called Horse, and no one ever.
Yeah, there's got to be one reason.
He does have a long face, though.
Yeah, that's true.
He actually does, but I'm just not sure, mate.
Yeah.
Could be anything. It could be the complete opposite. He could have the really small dick, and then it's like,
well, that's true. That's
just call him Horse.
Probably, go to opposite land.
Either that or it was lucky for Anthony Stevens' wife that it wasn't him.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Well, yeah. Oof.
She wasn't in there calling out, screaming out horse instead of king.
15 minutes and we're getting controversial already.
Yeah.
Yeah, g'day to Wayne. Anyway, so...
He watches the show every now and then.
Oh, sure.
That'd be good. Tell you what, I've been watching a lot of old footy on KO, though, the 90s and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. He was
Oh, yeah.
some football player.
Definitely a player I used to like watching.
Because
I used to love the matchups between him and Djakovic. They were like fucking epic,
right.
those two.
See, they don't pump it up like they used to. Like, I was actually thinking about that exact thing a couple of weeks ago. I think Djakovic and Carey, like, all weeks, like, you know, the best centre half back versus the best centre half forward. But now, with a lot of rotations and that sort of, you don't necessarily see those sort of matchups anymore.
No,
it's a shame. Yeah. A lot of the things that I loved about footy back in the day, you just don't see as much of anymore. And the big bags of goals, the tantalising, even not just the matchups between forward and back, but the matchups between forward and forward.
Yeah.
You know, when you get your Lockett's and Dunstall playing in the same game, or Ablett, Modra playing in the same game, you know, it's like, who's going to come out on top?
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. It's although I don't know, with Thilthorpe back, maybe it's the and King's going right for Gold Coast. Maybe the rebirth of the big forwards there. I don't know.
I would love to see it, man.
They're doing all right.
I would love to see a team create a game plan where the big man can stay at home a bit.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to happen a few years ago. They started doing it with Tom Hawkins a little bit. But it's still like there's too much movement and then there's too much flooding back for it to happen properly.
I don't believe that Carey and Ablett and those sorts of guys, and possibly even Dunstan and Lockett would be, well, you know, good luck getting in Dunstall's way on the lead. But I think, you know, I don't think they'd be as successful as if they were playing today, because the sheer stamina of the players to be able to get back and flood, which you can thank the Bulldogs for. So they sort of, if I remember correctly, they sort of brought that on board when in 2000 when Essendon had, so they were like, Essendon won 21 games, yeah? They won 21 games for the year, and they lost the Dogs, and their game plan was just a flood. And completely, so Lloyd couldn't get a kick, and Lucas couldn't get a kick, and so they won the game, and then obviously every team's just like, oh shit, this works, and you know, away we go.
And Paul Roos got hold of it, and fucking turned it into something. Jesus.
Oh, mate, the West Coast Sydney bloody grand finals. Kicking 50 points. Like, what is this? You know, like,
that Sydney, that whole Sydney era where it was like 10 goal games. That's it. It's like fucking hell.
But that's following Malt. You know, everyone used to hang shit on Malthouse at West Coast because he plays such a defensive game. And he goes, well, you know, because they're like, why do you want to score more? And he's like, I only have to score more than the other team. That's it. So you know,
but you hear interviews from Malcolm Blight from in the early 90s when he was coaching Geelong, and his mantra was just kick more goals than the other team, no matter how many it is. It was like the opposite.
So it's but I guess it's easier if you can stop them scoring goals than have to score goals yourself, I guess.
It's easier to teach too, because it's like for players, it's easier to have people defend. You don't need so much talent to defend. You just need hard work, a good work ethic.
Be nice and tough at the contest.
Yeah.
I think. It's tough, and you know when you
and a John Worsfold down the back.
Be handy.
I don't know if I mentioned this. I went and saw him many years ago, and I watched him run on the field, and he ran around the entire back line and went to every single one of them and said, "You touch that ball, I'll fucking kill you. You touch that ball." And it's like, and then obviously he sets up in the back pocket, and he was. So I've met John Worsfold a couple of times, and he is literally the nicest guy you'll ever meet in your life. But he was savage as a footballer. He was out of control.
Yeah.
And, you know, but it's like there's this reel of Lee Matthews rolling around at the moment where it's, you know, he's got vision of him commentating being a nice old bloke, and then it shows vision of him just so, you know.
I commented on that exact reel, and it was just some stats from I think it was a game in 1973 that he played. And I just commented his stats for the game. He played against Richmond. I think it was round 2 or 3, 1972 or 1973, and he'd had 43 touches and kicked 11.
Yeah,
Jesus,
that's a quiet game.
Is anyone else playing?
I think so.
Mate, the difference between him and Worsfold is he didn't, pretend he was a nice bloke off the field, whereas Worsfold.
No, he was. Yep.
Yeah, he was the same bloke on and off. He was tough and hard, and he would have been a tough coach. And when he's commentating now, he's pretty strong in his opinions too. But,
very.
Yeah. But
legend of the game. But yeah, fucking. I listened to Triple M quite a lot, and they was hanging shit on Billy Brownless about when they played West Coast in the grand finals and stuff. It's like, you wouldn't have got anywhere near John Worsfold. And he's like, no, I didn't.
Why would you, mate? He was,
steer clear. I love watching those grand finals just for the sheer brutality of those games.
Mate, the 92-94 West Coast teams are some of the best football teams that have ever played. Like, they're just that stacked.
Unreal.
It's ridiculous how stacked they are.
Yeah.
And they did it well. Actually, Sumich kicked a lot in 94, didn't he? But
94.
Old Peter Point kicker. He loved to kick a point, that bloke. But if he was anywhere near straight, he would have kicked.
Peter Matera kicked 5 in one of them, did he?
Yeah, Matera, he kicked 5.
Yeah, he kicked 5 in the 92 grand final. 92, 94.
Yeah, I think it was 92.
Yeah, won the Norm Smith doing that. So
yes, that's right. Yeah.
He was an absolute beast, and back in the old days, they had him on one wing, they had Craig Turley on the other wing, and then they had bloody Waring through there, Djakovic, obviously Sumich.
Yeah, 92.
And it was all their defence that was killing it. David Hart, Guy McKenna, and obviously Worsfold, and who was their fullback? Yeah,
Ashley McIntosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ashley McIntosh. He was a good player.
Gun player.
Yeah. They were just Dean Kemp, a good Kalgoorlie boy like me.
Kemp.
So he played for the same junior club I did. So
he did not look like he belonged on an AFL list.
He was a very, very, very good player for a boarding. Did he win Norm Smith in 94?
94, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, 94,
yeah. He's a very good player. He played for Railways in Kalgoorlie, which is my old club. Red Legs.
Poor Mark Ricciardo nearly erased him from football history.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man, that is one of the most sickening fucking hits I've ever seen.
I don't know, man.
And he fucked him up after that.
Yeah, he's not been real good.
That was it. Yeah.
We, I won't, I'm sure he probably doesn't watch it, but Brendan Crummell lives locally here, and his boy was playing footy down with my boy. And I don't know if you remember Brendan Crummell. So he played for Hawthorn and played for Freo.
Yep.
And there is, if you look up Brendan Crummell, Byron Pickett, you will see the biggest shirt front you've ever seen in your life. And it's almost impossible to see Brendan. Whenever I see him, all I think about is, Jesus Christ, man, you got ironed out. And he played 150 odd games, but I think that's what he's sort of known for more than anything else, is the day he got absolutely cemented by Byron Pickett. So
he got a few people too, Byron.
Oh, yeah.
He was a bit of a sniper.
He got a few.
He could take people out.
Run straight past the footy. Footy's almost bouncing into his arms. You go around.
No footy.
Go around the footy and just take him out.
Well, I saw. I think I've talked to you boys about this when I saw John Worsfold. They almost had to ring Mrs. Modra and let her know her son had died, mate, because that was one of the biggest. I think I was about 10 rows back behind the goals, and I was about 40 metres out, and I could hear it. That's how.
Yeah.
And that was stretcher material. That was a massive hit, and you just can't seem to do it anymore. Although I saw footage of Cam Rayner ironing out Nick Dacos. That's pretty close to get to a proper
Yeah.
There's just so much room for error. If you get it right, it's all right, but there's just a couple an inch too high, or it's just so dangerous for your own career as well. There's difference between a fair bump and 6 weeks.
Yeah, well, you tackle someone, they fall forward, and it's 3 weeks now. So But the umpires will say they got it right, because that's the latest controversy. You got that one, with old mate, what's his name?
Schultz.
Yeah, Schultz.
Is that the one with Schultz? Fuck hell.
Where they've come out and said, the umpires didn't see it, and the umpires obviously weren't fans of that, so someone leaked the audio. And I don't know if you've heard it, where they're saying, they saw them, and and they said play on and that sort of stuff. And then he turned around and said, the umpires gave us the wrong information, and then there was a suggestion that the umpires were about to go berserk, like, properly revolt. So then she had to wind it all back and go, oh, no, it was the actual umpiring department. It wasn't those umpires. And it just bloody threw them under the bus. It was crazy.
Jesus, the fucking AFL umpires are like the fucking American secret government, the oligarchy. Fucking hell.
Mate, the AFL, they don't often admit they got it wrong, even when it's on.
Oh,
like
they don't like to.
Nah.
That bloody free kick to was it Melbourne, wasn't it? It was Pickett.
Yeah.
He got tripped in the goal square. Like, that's one of the most obvious free kicks. He literally put his hand out and hooked it, and nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. So it's crazy.
Well, he could end up at bloody Freo next year now if Jackson really wants to go.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
So that's so fucking cooked.
You didn't see that coming, mate.
He wanted to go back to WA, and now he's like, no, I've had enough.
I thought they were going to win.
I thought they were going to win a premiership. I'm going to go back in the D's.
Yeah, well, they're not going to win a
premiership. They're going to be no closer there. Fucking hell.
I was going to say that I don't think you're going to be much closer there, buddy.
Yeah, where would he go?
No closer. There'll be a rebuild after this year.
And he's been playing great footy. So,
Yeah.
If I was running the Demons, I'd be moving on the Stars now and just starting again.
Just do it Hawthorn style, mate. Just send them on their way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Send off
Jordan. While they got value. You can't wait for them
to
drop off because then you get nothing for them.
I remember when everyone was giving Sam Mitchell shit about moving on all those stars and stuff, and now look at him. No one's saying a word about it.
Mate, he got sent on himself. He obviously got sent to West Coast, and and they also have this coaching plan where he's going to because obviously Adam Simpson coached under Clarkson, so and then sent off Jordan Lewis with no second thought, and Hodgie up to Brisbane, and he was great.
Yep.
He was absolutely great at Brisbane. He still had a good few years left in him, so
they
had no second thoughts about sending him on.
Yep.
Maybe Melbourne need to do that because a lot of them aren't stars. You look at Clayton Oliver; he's struggling every single week.
Yeah.
His heart's just not in it, and Gawn can't do it forever.
Fuck, he's playing good though. Fucking. What's Gawn? 35.
I don't know.
He'd be about there, 34, 35.
Yeah, he'd be in his
he's still playing some good footy.
I'm not the biggest fan of Melbourne, but it's he can play. He can play. He gets a fair rub from the umpires, I noticed. But so if there's a ruck infringement, you can be pretty sure it's going to go his way. And,
ruck infringement shit me. It should almost be fucking no rules in the middle.
Would you believe that he's only 33?
33.
Now so they can cross the line at the centre bounce, which means, and they obviously what they want to try and, not have these collision knee-on-knee injuries. But all it's done is it's ruined, guys like TDK and real leapers at the footy.
Yeah.
All the meatheads like Darcy and bloody, those guys and bloody, Trishan Sherry, who's probably, you can forget Gawn. If you're not watching any North Melbourne, watch a game and watch Tristan Sherry. He is far and away.
Oh, Sherry's good. Yeah.
Out of control.
Yeah.
He's getting more contested possessions in his midfield, so it's, so it's allowing them to dominate because they're not going to have this guy just leaping over them. So Nick Nat would really struggle with the current rule.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So,
All right, well, let's jump into the episode before Croppy falls asleep on us.
we've just done nearly half an hour on footy.
Poor Croppy's just sitting there like, what?
Yeah.
He's only a baby in the AFL scene. So he's like,
yeah.
I'm running on about 2% fucking at the moment. I can literally hear myself blink.
Oh God.
I was Johnny.
I was just sitting in the car today, actually. That just made me thought of that. I was just sitting in the car, and when everything's that quiet, you can hear random things. My glasses were sitting that tight on my head. I could fucking hear the glasses moving around in my head.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck this. Get off me.
Yeah. It's sometimes concerning.
Put some music on.
Good sense of music on, mate. Just wipe that out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you start hearing. When you say you start hearing things, I'm like voices, or what's the
Oh no, that's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All Anyway, so tonight's episode is, as like I said, episode 69, and tonight's episode's about awkward sexual encounters. No, it's not actually.
Oh, well, I can throw my list away then.
I'll find out what it's and ready to go.
Yeah, tonight's episode, we're going to be just talking about a bit about barbecue and a few cooks we've done and what we like to use rub-wise on our cooks, and even some of the absolute garbage cooks we've cooked, because I've done a couple really bad ones.
Yeah,
that
I think everyone is.
I really, the funny thing is, because I tried to start filming and stuff like that, and then I just started getting too much into it, and I was like, no, I can't fucking do this. I'm fucking everything up. I'm too worried about trying to get the camera out and trying to do this, trying to do that, and I was starting to think to myself, can I even cook? I don't think I know I can cook, but I can't cook. And then I was like, so I just stopped recording and just went back to cooking the way I remember how to cook and how I know how to cook. And every cook I've done since then has turned out great. I'm not using fucking special tools and all this sort of shit. I was saying to Matt and Croppy, I got to the point where I'm like looking at things going, I know how to cook, but I feel like I don't know how to cook this. I'm looking up so many different things, like how long it needs to be cooked for, and everyone's saying something different, and like the temperature's going to be this, the temperature's going to be that, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, this is so fucking annoying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like, it does get daunting when you come into the, it's not come into the barbecue world, but I did come into the trying to create content in the barbecue world. And I feel like I put way too much pressure on myself when I did that. And yeah, I just started fucking things up. So I'd film things that would never even see the light of day. This is not going on any social media because this is absolutely fucking rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know someone who films content that probably fucking shouldn't either.
Yes,
we all know
we're all saying that.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So yeah.
Yeah.
You like that. All right.
Moist. I thought about this earlier when I was sort of writing down notes about, like, it was COVID, when COVID first got announced, when I first bought that shitty John Buck gas smoker, and I learned everything, well, just YouTube tutorials, but like it's pretty easy to overcomplicate it, especially like if you search a YouTube video of how to cook a brisket, right? How to smoke a brisket.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch 10 different videos and you'll probably get 10 different methods, and nothing is always the same. And then it's sort of like, I always put it back to like, it's sort of like learning to play the guitar. If you can learn the basic chords of the guitar, you can sort of throw that together and create your own song sort of thing. So if you know what you want to achieve, then just knowing how to achieve it, just like, I feel like, and this is always a massive debate, especially in barbecue groups on Facebook. Someone will come in and be like, hey guys, I'm new to like low and slow barbecue or whatever. I'm thinking about doing a brisket. Any advice would be appreciated. And you get so many comments saying, oh, I wouldn't attempt a brisket on your first try. I'm like, I think that's a little bit of a cop out. The only way you get good at cooking a certain protein is by cooking with it. Go out and buy a cheap one, and you're gonna fuck it up. I understand that from a price point of value, it's, especially if you get a full packer, it's a lot of money that goes down the drain if you do fuck it up. But just the only way you're going to start learning how to cook with certain types of protein is like, because if people like go cook a Boston butter, pulled pork, it's easy as fuck. You can be really aggressive with the temperatures. I'm like,
also, like,
fundamentally, it's the same law, times and temperatures, once you know how your smoker reacts to different fuels and proteins that you put on it. But if you want to master a brisket, then start cooking brisket.
Well, fuck up is on a spectrum too, by the way.
Yeah.
Because you can cook something not perfect or not great or not even that good, and you're still edible. You're not going to fucking. You're not going to waste it.
Yeah.
Like I've cooked shit that I've thought that is fucking garbage, and my whole family's been like, no, it's good.
Yeah, I think you're your own harshest critic too.
Yeah, you're always going to be you're always going to be your own worst critic because you know what you can do. So when you don't achieve it, then
yeah. So to absolutely waste a cut of meat it's not easy to do.
Yeah.
No, and even like I said, like you can fuck up if you fuck up a brisket, whether you take it too far and it's dry. And it's like chuck it in a slow cooker and make a stew or something.
Pies, man.
Make a pie. Or
That's it.
Pies.
Yeah, pies.
Like it's not all lost. Maybe it's not your desired final product that you wanted to achieve, but it's also not a waste either.
Yeah, surely if you're cooking a brisket, it's not going to be the first and last brisket you ever cook. You're doing it for a reason. Like
100%. Yeah. But,
I don't necessarily like prescribe to the idea that it's as hard as what people make out like briskets. Like it's not. You're just putting meat on a smoker, and if provided you sort of have your temp within a range, and I'm not one of those ones. Oh, it must be 275, it must be 250 Fahrenheit. Whatever, you got a range anywhere between. If you're talking Fahrenheit, it's anywhere between 250 and 300, and you'll be fine. Yeah. And it's funny because as you boys know, I co-own Ironwood Barbecue as well, and we have a retail shop which we don't really open anymore, but we're that busy on wholesale. But we used to open Saturday mornings, and people always come in and ask advice and so on. And I always tell people like the biggest advice I can give you is like just try and avoid too much YouTube, because you'll have one bloke and he'll go always, and then the other guy will go never, and they're talking about exactly the same thing, and you're like, well, what's right, what's wrong? And you sit there and go, well, you're going to figure out your own way. And I think if you keep it really simple and just try and focus on getting the temps in the right range, and just keep an eye on it. Like I don't use remote probes or anything like that. Like we sell them, but I tend not to use them. I just get a bit of a gauge, and when I think it's ready, I'll just poke an Insta in it and see how see where it's at, and wrapping hides a multitude of sins. If it's sort of going a bit hard or it's not getting where you need it to go, then wrapping it will help speed that up as well. So there's there's all sorts of stuff you can do, and I think the best thing to do is just not overthink it too much. But but I've had some.
Yeah, a lot of people make out like you're doing open heart surgery.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think the barbecue community is a lot like the fitness community online. There's a lot of gatekeeping of information, or purposefully making it sound harder than it is.
Yeah.
So it's like you are this master fucking cooker, or you've got this special information that you've been taught by some barbecue sensei.
The way we came into each other's lives, boys, is obviously a bit of a discussion around the role of the barbecue influencer, and and it's funny. Like I look at some of the images around meat stock and that sort of stuff, and it's almost like they're characters now. I feel like I'm watching wrestling half the time, This guy's got this fucking hat, and he's got this, and that's his shtick, and you sit there and, man, we're all just people. Like, no one's more important than anyone else, and I just don't.
No, that's exactly right.
Like that, it's just the idea that you consider yourself a celebrity because you cook meat, like.
Yeah, I know that makes me laugh. That does.
Yeah, it's not a. It's not a flat, like, if you can nail a good cook, it's like you do feel good about it, but you're not the only person that can do that. Literally, your average Joe, as it goes back to, it's not as hard as what some of those, I guess, influencers make out. Yeah. Because.
Well, I mean, it's a good skill and everything, but just be humble about it,
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, back when I was I started getting back into videos slowly, but. Back when I was, last year, all my videos would be like a voiceover thing. I'd be like, I'm cooking it at this temperature. And you just get some fuckwit in the chat going, oh, that's not the temperature. So now I don't even talk. I just use raw sound. And then you get someone and they still comment going, oh, what happened to the voiceovers? How come there's no direction?
The chopping sounds very loud.
Fucking hell, you can't win, hey?
Something very tranquil about your videos, man. I actually do watch them because it's quite tranquil. Like you're in bumfuck, like you got the nice outlook there, and it's just nice and quiet, and I actually quite like.
So I always said to Croppy about his backdrop. So the backdrop is you could take a shit on that backyard and still look fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I'm going to try that actually next week.
I'm surprised it's
raining.
Yeah, so
I should wait for the fucking rain to stop.
Squatting in the background. Oh, yeah, out. So is it the, you know?
Just plopped out that nugget.
I actually Rob put me on to not the last time, but the first time I went down to South Australia, we were all laying on the couch one day, just fucking hungover with our thumbs in our mouths, and Rob put on this survival show on YouTube. This guy from the UK, Andy, yeah, and he talks in his videos, but when he's doing something like putting up a tent or slicing up food to cook, it's just raw sound. And I really like that raw sound, unedited with no music over it kind of thing. I just got sick of doing voiceovers because one, fucking hated the sound of my voice when I watch it back to edit it, and two, you couldn't win anyway. Someone would always tell you're wrong. So I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to say anything.
I was going to say the tranquil sounds of your neighbourhood are better than that cunt droning in the background talking about the cook. Who was that? Hey, you.
Oh, yeah. Fucking...
And shut the fuck up.
Like, oh, man, you couldn't win. And that was part of the reason why I stopped doing the videos, because one, I was probably overdoing it and it felt more like a chore than anything. It's like, oh, fuck, I haven't put a video out in 3 days. I better go to the shops and buy something, film something. So it started to feel like more of like I was compelled to do it, or required to do it. And I feel like anything, though, you don't want to. Never wanted to turn something that started as a hobby and will always be a hobby, because I don't necessarily want to go anywhere in the barbecue world. I'm just happy keeping it as a hobby rather than turning it into a job, so to speak. But yeah, I think it's really easy to get burnt out on literally anything, like not just the barbecue thing. You can take a hobby, for example, like me, Rob, and Matt. We love playing games. We have a game that we play, and there was a while there that we swore we'd never fucking play it again because we played it too many times, and it just made us angry. So
I played it an hour and a half ago.
He's going to say what this game is. Are we allowed to say? No.
It's Rocket League.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's frustrating. Cunt of a game.
Yeah, I'm starting to get hot thinking about it.
I've played that a bit during my kids play it. So
we've had some fucking infuriated nights.
Yeah.
You're better off taking up hard drugs, I reckon.
That's literally the reason why Croby's got all that shit hanging in the background, because his wall behind him is all full of holes.
It's just full of holes. I can actually see the water from my fucking PC.
Jesus Christ. No, I think so your videos are good. I've been watching a guy. It's actually not barbecue. He's a chef, Andy Herndon. So I don't know if you watch Andy, but he's a Kiwi guy, and he's based
Kiwi guy. Yeah, Andy Cooks.
And he's based on the sunny coast, but he's got something like he's probably at 4 million followers now. But you don't have to go back too far. He just started cooking during COVID, and if you go back through his old videos, they're really, really basic. But now, obviously, with 4 million followers, there's a fair bit of production behind it. But the general gist of it is he's a lot of them. He asks his wife what he wants to what she wants for lunch and for dinner, and then it's just got him cooking it. He doesn't speak at all.
Oh, I think I've seen that. Yeah.
And,
he always hey babe.
Babe, what do you want for lunch?
Yeah.
And just imagine that.
Yeah.
What do you want for lunch, bro? Kiwi accent.
There he goes.
Hey, you want some kind? This is my missus. So it's I really shouldn't do that. That's anyway. So it's I lived in New Zealand for 5 years, and I do that accent really fucking well, but I really should not.
And then you end up telling someone to cook some eggs and throwing a left jab at a woman.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you a story. Actually, So when I lived in New Zealand, there was a mate of mine. He worked for me, and he lived in this apartment block, and they had a fancy dress party. So, and the idea is that every unit had to be a different theme, and you'd go from unit to unit, and there was one where they actually had they pulled out all the furniture and made it a tennis court, and everyone's sort of dressed in tennis gear as an example. And what him and his buddy flatmate did is they got their girlfriends round, And when I knock on the door, they were dressed in like in fleece, and the women had bloody makeup to make it look like they'd done the old Once for Warriors, and their and eggs were on the menu there. It was absolutely brutal.
no.
So I'm probably it's
that's hilarious.
yeah,
And brilliant.
Ridiculous. But anyway, so that was probably shouldn't have told that story. So Andy Hernan, you can edit that out. Andy Hernan, so he doesn't speak, but then in his little thing on Insta, it's got the recipe. So if you really want to have a look at it, then you can sort of have a crack at it. So yeah, and then I tried his fish finger recipe.
I like that he like everything. Like for someone who's as popular as he is, like pretty much a public figure in the culinary world now, all his recipes are still very user friendly for the average Joe at home, which is
and he is giving it away. So he's not doing it. The idea is like, hey, you can try this in my latest book. So
I'm not, I obviously won't name any names, but it annoys me when I seen a couple of people, especially on their Instagram stories now, they'll have a cook, and it's like, oh, today I'm cooking fucking whatever it may be, and then a couple of stories of the process, a couple little snippets, and then the next thing is exclusive content. Subscribe here. It's like,
fucking.
I mean, come on, like
Listen, it's getting the nipples out crappie and on it now. So is that these blokes?
No, I agree. I'm thinking about it. The naked chef.
Oh, good God. Oh, literally, there you go.
I'll have nothing on but the Weber.
And some fair bit of singeing, fair bit of singed pubes on it.
Yeah, I won't be cooking bacon.
You need to grow your beard long enough where it can just cover everything. That'll be hilarious. Just have your beard just there and you're completely naked.
Do you remember that show, like
Naked
Gardening or something?
Mate, so, is that,
Naked Gardening.
It was Naked News or something. I don't know. There used to be a show back in the day.
I remember Naked News.
I remember Naked News. I don't remember.
It used to be on the Comedy Channel on Foxtel back in the day.
Yeah. There was a Naked Gardening one as well where they'd go, people would sign up for the season. And there was this one guy that actually had a massive ZZ Top beard, and he'd just be having.
I'm going to say something else.
I don't know. I'm not sure what he was hiding, but he was out there watering his flowers with his watering can. It was,
choked on that, Jesus.
Come to think of it, it was actually me just making a home video that I sent it around to my mates.
Wish you thought it was the fucking.
You could do it, but you just have to be sitting in a chair and your head really low.
Oh shit! The wheels. So there goes the wheels. The wheels are going.
What would be a cook that you guys sort of remember as something that was, what made it special? Was it people around, or what you cooked, or what's the?
What did I do? I did some pork fillet pinwheels, stuffed pork fillet pinwheels that were really good. They were like butterflied pork fillets with provolone cheese and shit in them. I rolled them up and strung them up, and they were like pork scrolls. They're on my Instagram if anyone wants to check them out. But they were wicked. They were heaps good.
They've got the recipe in there, mate, or have to
subscribe exclusive content.
Yeah, nice.
But they were good because there was a lot of preparation into them, and I was deliberating it for a couple of weeks actually. I reckon I messaged the boys, I'm like, I reckon this will bloody work.
Yeah. It was a good video, actually.
It was a good video. It turned out pretty good, that one.
Yeah, it was a good cook.
Like, it's good when you have an idea that comes together, just how you picture it.
Nothing beats that. It's, in your head, it's all good, and then when you put it together, it's like, oh, that's shit. But then when it comes off and it works out, it's fucking unreal.
Like on a Tuesday night where you think, I'm only going to have a couple of beers. I'll be in bed early, and then all of a sudden the sun's coming up. It's like, fuck, man. This has really come together. I've seen it happening.
I think one of my favourite cooks, it was just me and my wife and my kids, and it was 2021, was it? About 4 years ago. We just moved into this house, and I've been itching to fire up the Weber, and I said to my wife, I said, "Oh, I feel like something different." I said, "Maybe we'll go down the butcher's and get some ribs or something." And the day was getting along, and I'm like, if I want to cook this, I really need to fucking go home and cook something. And she's like, "Oh, let's go to the butcher." So I went to the butcher, and I got beef shortback ribs. And I'm like, I'm not going to be able to cook these fucking in time. So fucking race home. It's about midday. I quickly get everything on the Weber, start cooking it. I reckon we ate around about probably about 7:30 by the time I let the meat settle and everything like that. I probably could have gone longer, but I'm like, this is not going to be great. I don't think this is going to be great. And we took it out and so I unwrapped it and cut into it, and fuck, it was so good. It turned out perfect. Like, I feel like if I had have prepared that better, I don't think I would have been able to cook it as good as it turned out. If I had too much time on my hands, I feel like I would have fucked that cook right up. But it turned out so good, and that was where, like, my wife's love come to barbecuing and stuff, like cooking on the Weber, cooking on the smoker and all that sort of stuff. That's where she fell in love with all that sort of food. So, yeah, that was my favourite.
Yeah. And it's funny.
It was a rush job, but it turned out to be
you didn't have time to overthink it. You just fucking...
Yeah, that's right. Exactly right.
That's exactly what we were talking about before, you know. You just chuck it on, get the heat going, and away you go. So,
yep.
The more you start thinking about it too, you start thinking, oh, you think about what can go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it usually does. Like,
oh yeah,
it's like hitting a golf ball, trying to think, I don't want to hit it into the water, and you'll hit it into the water almost 9 times out of 10. Trust me, I'm a golf ball, I know. But that comes back to, like, I feel like, especially the barbecue, it's all right to take inspiration and use certain rules or laws of physics as a guideline, but I've always said it's literally one thing that you can do that you can make your own. Like, it's literally a creative avenue. I mean, I can't paint a photo, can't paint a fucking... I don't really know how to play guitar, but it's good to have a creative avenue. It's going to sound weird as fuck, but to express yourself, I guess, through food. A lot of people do it too, and it's a good... It's a good, like, activity to... I don't know. I name one bloke who loves barbecue that's never... not happy when he's cooking.
That's right.
Especially a couple of beers.
Someone who owns a barbecue restaurant, mate. So
yeah, that's true. That's probably.
I can tell you, I got there pretty quickly. Where there was a point where I thought, if I never see fucking pulled pork again, I'll be a happy man. So
yeah.
But I've rediscovered it. It's good now. So
and that's another thing too. Like, all last week, I done a pulled pork. I had pork ribs. I had 4 different cooked meals in my fridge just because I was throwing together some content for social media and shit. And, like, I love the smell of barbecue food, don't get me wrong, but fucking the next day in your fridge, when you smell it, it's like, oh man, how am I going to eat? It's like having that Christmas ham. Fuck, I would never want to eat
eating
ham
until Easter
again. Yeah, and fuck, silly. I just literally went and bought a whole ham for some reason. I don't even know why.
Glazed ham for the family.
We have ham, so we go again Christmas night. Then Boxing Day is like ham and eggs for breakfast.
Yeah.
And then it's like ham and salad rolls with the cricket's on. And then we have frittata. But then I make a thing called potted ham.
Yeah.
I don't know what potted ham is, but it's like mustard and you get pickles and that sort of stuff, and you dice it all up fine. You dice your ham up fine and blitz it, and then put mustard through it and sage and all that sort of stuff, and then you compress it, and then you stick melted butter over the top of it, and you stick that in the fridge so this butter seals it, and then you can just literally just spoon it out and just put it on crusty bread.
Oh,
is
wow.
Is that like the thing that Andy made that time?
I don't know.
I recken it is.
In that fucking it's like what do they call that? Like a terrine? No.
What he made was
similar to that.
It's a poor
I don't know what he used.
Terrine. It's not really a terrine because it's not compressed, and you're only coating it with butter.
Whatever he used.
See, I like pea and ham soup. So after Christmas time, that's my go-to, pea and ham soup with the. I always get the knuckle end of my ham, so. grab the hock and the bones and whatever leftover ham, P&M soup.
Mate, that was my Nana Joyce's special, mate, P&M soup, and then she'd because we were broke as shit, so she'd grab bread and stick bread in it to try and make it go further. Or absolutely broke when I was a little kid, and then I'd absolutely kill it with Worcestershire sauce, and I'd just plow. It's funny. Like, I don't know if you boys like Worcestershire sauce. I'll tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
So we go through a bottle, one of the bigger bottles, probably about once a month here. So we smash it on eggs. I put it through my bolognese because it's like a big lift of it. Mm-hmm. If you anything with beef, it just absolutely lifts it. And so we absolutely plow through it here. And I went over to my partner's house and I was looking in the thing, and she has this little bottle of Worcestershire sauce, and it's fucking glass. And I'm sitting there going, when was the last time they were selling Worcestershire sauce in glass? And I'm sitting there going, this is like older than Father Time. Like, what's going on here? And I've used it. It's right as rain. It'll outsee it'll outsee all of us. There's that much bloody vinegar and shit in it, or just a lot of salt. And it'll but I could not believe that had an actual little glass bottle of it. I was thinking it had like a big dark ring around it, and I thought, Jesus Christ, this is years and years old.
Yeah.
And then
there was always that
genie
meme
comes out
with a photo of a Worcestershire sauce bottle in someone's fridge going, has any motherfucker ever gone for a whole bottle? And I'm like, yes, definitely. I mean, I remember when I first had it as a kid, every Sunday he'd cook on, like, he had this fucking old makeshift barbecue that he made out of Besser blocks and coals, like an old hot plate. Every Sunday he'd cook bacon and eggs. And I remember him first introducing Worcestershire sauce to me then. He'd fucking splash it on me bacon and eggs. And I'm like, this is probably as good as food will ever be. I think it is such an underrated. I don't think it's even underrated. I think plenty of people rate it. I even use it. I use it as a binder too most times. For rubs.
Like I used to.
It's fine and it covers really well.
Yeah, it's I used to use it to if my dad cooked sausages, I'd just murder it in that. And if he cook steak, it was pretty much fucking jerky. And so Worcestershire sauce soaking through it was. I remember I cooked him I tried so hard and cooking this perfectly medium rare steak once, and he just looks at me like, "Why do you fucking hate me?" Like, he's just, And I'm like, "Well, that's that. Then I'm not cooking for you anymore." So that was the end of that. So
the older generation. My dad always had to have well done steaks.
Yeah, like, just grey and dry, man.
And he didn't have any bloody teeth
either. He's sitting there gumming this piece of fucking jerky. I don't know what was,
fucking. Yeah. Nothing like a bit of biltong for dinner.
But he had so he had an old brick barbecue like that, and then his standard was he'd hit the beers, he'd put the fire on underneath it, forget about it. Then he'd have to get the fucking garden hose to cool the plate down because it was. And then every time, fucking steam everywhere, and then bloody and then he had an '86 red Weber, so that he bought in '86. It was just the Weber. So the smell of heat beads through roast chicken is something quite, which, funny enough, I don't use heat beads anymore. I always use charcoal, but that smell is quite specific to me because that was our Sunday roast. Yeah, he loved doing like lamb and chicken on the Weber, but we lived had like a quarter acre, and half of it was for wood. Everything was wood fired, mate. We had wood fired heaters, wood fired water heater. So that was my job. I had to light the water heater every night so we could have hot showers. And I'm sound like I'm fucking 100 years old, but I'm not. It's Kalgoorlie.
Used to churn the butter out the back.
Yeah, it's just Kalgoorlie, man. So there's no danger of having a shit and some blokes pulling the bucket from underneath or anything. But we had flush toilets. It was an outside loo though. But if you made the water heater too hot, it just came out of steam. And and then steam would come out of his fucking ears, man, if you did that. So there was a lot of pressure on watching that temp. Yeah, absolutely crazy times. But so that was, I guess, where I sort of started really, loving cooking over fire and that sort of stuff. And we'd go bush all the time and everything over fire. So it was, good times. And then I have an '86 Red Weber, funnily enough. So I managed to track one down. Yeah. So it's the same as his, which is odd that I feel that way because he's an absolute prick. But I don't necessarily feel that desire to bloody honour him in any way. It's just more around the idea of saying it's just my own childhood, I guess. So
Yep.
I've got way too many Webbers now, but that's
I had to give away my other one because my wife's like, "You get too many things." I said to her the other day because I'm like, I just want this. I said, "Oh, how about you and whoever puts in and gets me this pizza oven for Christmas because I'm too scared to use my other one now." And she's like, "I'm not getting you any other cookers." She goes, "Get rid of one, and then I'll get you something." I was like, "I'll get rid of the pizza oven, and only burn the house down then." She's like,
Walk
"No,
inside, throw the microwave out."
Yeah, that's right. Then tell me what I can get rid of, and not anything that's on the veranda.
So what have you got for a pizza oven? What's the?
It's just this fucking tall, skinny thing, got a little chimney at the top. I don't know. I don't know the name of it. There's no brand on it. Pit Boss have one.
Yeah.
But this isn't a Pit Boss one. And when the boys come down, we thought we'd have pizza, and this thing took forever to start, and then took forever to fucking go out.
When it got going, holy fuck! I think you fucked off inside for like 20 seconds.
We put a pizza in there, and I reckon it was in there for about 20 seconds max, and it was burnt to a fucking crisp.
Like 800 degrees or something, mate.
It was unreal.
Boring.
It was
it's fucking whistling.
The wind didn't help either. It must have been
the wind. I think the wind must have got hold of that and just fucking it just went crazy. But before I forget, Worcestershire sauce. What else? Another thing that goes well with is plain potato chips. It's fucking unreal.
Oh
potato chips.
Yeah. You just open up the bag, pour the Worcestershire sauce in, shake it up, and it's the best. It's the best.
So that could be maybe.
That's an old delicacy too.
Yeah.
I reckon I could do that. I reckon I could do. So what I like doing is like dill pickle dust. I think I told you. Like the way I thought of it is like I like dill. I just get these ideas and I wonder if I could make. Yeah. Okay.
Coat the plain chips
Not even
in the
say that loud. He's
sauce,
going to get some.
and then use the Worcestershire
sauce
sauce as a binder on plain chips, and then tip in your dill pickle dust and shake it up.
Imagine if I had
I'll be doing that now.
Imagine if you had something that was powdered and it tastes like Worcestershire.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
There used to be a guy up here in Clint called.
Writing it down.
Patenting that.
Sorry, boys. Seriously, if I don't write it down, I will forget this tomorrow. Does.
I haven't tried it with any other chips. I just know it works with plain.
Salt and vinegar would go alright as well, I think.
It would.
Yeah.
Salt vinegar is sacrilege to me, man. I just love it. So that's my Achilles heel.
Yeah.
And the red rock deli ones, the ones that like peel a fucking layer of skin off the inside of your mouth. And it's,
your tongue's feels like your tongue's like just this big round mound. It's like one of those jumping fucking pits, fucking caravan parks by the end of it. You're like,
I love that shit. And then
actually, those what are those? I think they're called the Nobbies brand. You get the salt and vinegar peanuts.
Yeah,
yes.
Right.
Yeah, I love that.
Worcestershire sauce as well in the bag. Bit of a mix. We could do a bit of nuts and bolts type fucking
bits and bobs.
Platter. Bits and bobs.
I'll tell you what, boys. I'm onto this. I reckon we can do this. So
that'd be good.
Yeah,
that would actually be fucking. That would be good. I reckon.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
I can tell you that's tomorrow's job, man. I'm going to start researching that. So there you go.
Yeah.
I'll add it to the fucking 25 other ideas I'm half working through. So,
I've started literally just going with one idea now because I was trying to make a logo the other night for a new rub that I was thinking about trying to make, and it's all the right parts are there, but it's just ratios, and I'm still trying to actually. I might even shoot you a message next week. I'm trying to secure some shaker bottles. It's really hard without. I don't want to have to buy 1,000 of them either from Alibaba.
No, I can do that. It's easy.
But because at the moment, like the black pouches are fine, but I feel like they present better in the shaker bottles as well.
I used to do pouches, mate, and it's and I got to the point where I ended up making this little frame, and then I found this little spout because you don't want to be scooping into the thing, with the quantities we were doing, so. I found this little spout, so you put the spout inside it, and then it goes in, and then you shake the spout, and it's done. So it's a lot cleaner, but it's
that's the hardest part too, like filling the bags. Like
Well,
because they got that bottom on them too that you've got to push out, because if you don't push the bottom out, you're robbing yourself of an extra.
Yeah, you can't fit the amount in
season.
that you need to. Yeah, so
yeah. So I mean, cost effective, and like for someone like you, there would definitely be a pain in the ass for sure.
It was a massive pain in the ass, and funny enough, the shake the bottles provided you get the quantity. Because I started obviously just buying an amount of pouches, and then I had to hand label them, and I'll get my kids to do it, just bribe them to fucking because you hit me had a sticker on the back and the front, which is real smart. And then
my missus does it because my hands are too shaky.
I just don't want to make it crooked, mate. So I wish beyond anything I'd kept I don't know if I've got one, like an original, the very first one. And I went and saw a mate who has like a business doing like curries and all that sort of stuff, and curry powders and paste. And he actually, on his thing, he's got every version from the very first one. And I'm like, fuck, I wish I did that. I don't think I've got them. And there's been, probably 10 different iterations, because I was hand labeling, and then I started getting buying them in printed. So it was through a Australian company, but they were getting it from India, I think. But and then obviously smaller, and then bigger ones. And then once I made the move to shakers, man, it was it wasn't that much more expensive, but the amount of time saved. And I think if you really want to sort of get into shops and you're taken seriously, that's the expectation. Like so many shops are like, mate, what am I going to do with these pouches? Where am I going to put it? They're going to fall over, and so I just had to bite the bullet. And the first shipment was pretty small, but now we're sort of bringing containers at a time. And I would have done it locally if anyone made them locally, but they don't. So
that's what I found. Yeah. To keep it within Australia, to buy them in Australia, they seem very. I mean, I know. I forget what the place is called. Back when Meat Stock was first year at Meat Stock in Toowoomba, I did my barbecue rubs for a company as a collaboration, and I bought, I'm going to say 150 bottles, 150 shakers, and I bought them from, I think it was Sydney Barbecue Rotisseries or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And but they were $9 for a pack of 3. And it was just it was good for the collaboration and the exposure. But if I was to try and market that, it was not financially viable at all. Because I don't like charging I don't want to charge any more than $20 for a bottle.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they're like 320 grams. And by the time you add postage on top of that, it just seemed a little bit like I was robbing people of fucking adding, especially postage now is even worse. It's like $8-9, so it's nearly over $30 by the time someone buys one bottle, and it's like, fuck, who's buying that?
We just had to bite the bullet and just, subsidise shipping. So I know a lot of places, a lot of the bigger boys and ones that we've sort of half spoken about before, they're sort of charging through the nose for shipping, or that, you got to spend over $100 to get shipping and sort of stuff. And we just decided that, over $50 gets free shipping for us, so that's we don't look to make money on that. And then everything else is flat $5. And as you guys know, it costs more than $5 to send it. But I just thought it just doesn't make sense to me to, So if you buy one rub on my website, it's $24.95, and I think, well, that's to me is acceptable. I feel like getting out to sort of $30, it's just too. It just feels like too much money. So it's sort of so I just thought, well, I'm just going to take the hit on. It's up to me to sort of maintain my costs to ensure that I can still do that effectively. But the way I thought about it is, my wholesale price to shops versus selling it, I can, probably, still better off just subsidising that shipping. So I think, and it just felt like the right thing to do to get it out there. I don't know if people really make use of it. The amount of people that spend $45, and I'm like, dude, like, you're $5 away from, you just get another and ship it for free, So it's but that's up to them. But I can we'll take that offline, but definitely can sort you out with shakers, man. That's easy. So
and it's like it's not going to be huge quantities either. Like it's I'm happy just keeping it a small batch to advertise it to mates and everything like that. yeah, as I said, I didn't want to turn it into an actual job. It's more of it's not even a side hustle, really. Like, it's not really even from the financial standpoint. It's just making something that you're sort of half proud of and sharing it around, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, as I said, people who have the pouches, they're mostly friends and family anyway. So, I'm not too worried. But if I want to start advertising again, I'd rather advertise it in a plastic shaker for sure. Just as I said, it presents better, it stacks better as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Yep, that was definitely on the list of things to sort out this year.
Yeah, no, it's easy, mate. We can probably sort it out in the next day or two. Funny enough, my kids used to have, getting back to it, my kids used to have Worcestershire toast.
Oh, wow.
And we're talking like 8, 9 years old. They're in their 20s now, but they'd cook a piece of toast, put butter on it, and then just soak it in Worcestershire. And I'm like, man, that's next level. My oldest boy,
Dedication.
mate, my oldest boy, who's a chef, when he was maybe 2 years old, he was banging out vindaloos that I could barely eat, and he'd be sweating. He'd have his little fucking sipper cup, and his like nose is running, and he just loved it. Always loved different big flavors, So it's unsurprising that he's gone on to become a chef. And I know he probably won't watch this, so I can say that he's a better cook than me. So I'd never admit it to him, but
Yeah.
he's still learning on the cooking over fire. But he shits all over me in the chef steaks because he's worked for some really, really good restaurants and good chefs. So
That's all right.
it's ridiculous what he can do. So yeah.
Well, I'm going to take this opportunity right now to for any of our loyal listeners and viewers that have stuck all this way through. Me and Todd were talking the other day, and I was just trying to. I just thought about it with Jackalope being the sponsor of the show. I just thought, I wonder how many viewers we've got would purchase your product from listening to the podcast. And I was saying that me and Todd were talking about it, and I'll let you explain what you've come up with.
Yeah, and I think first and foremost, I certainly don't sponsor or haven't got involved in this with the idea to sell product. I do it because you guys are good blokes, and you obviously have the same sort of ideals towards barbecue that I do. So we're having a bit of a chat about it, and I was thinking, well, it'd be good to do something. So I've set up a code on the website today. So if you were to put in the code Bearded Mafia Pod in one word, it's a 15% off the cart. So the hope is, if you if you feel like you want to give it a crack, then obviously there's a good opportunity to get it a bit cheaper. And and as I say, bearing in mind, obviously, as I say, it's really low rate to get free shipping and that sort of stuff. So hopefully it people can get on and give it a crack. But that's that.
It's good. And we won't be promoting it outside of the podcast. It'll just be through the episodes themselves. So
if you've made it,
we'll know if you're listening and watching.
I think we're supposed to talk barbecue. We've had about 35 different subjects tonight, but that's
I reckon we can go back every episode we've ever done, and I don't think we've stuck to the program at all. We never have.
I've literally said nothing about cooks that I've enjoyed and cooks that I've made. So there you go.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about that because in the back of my mind I've been keeping it there. What's your favourite cook?
Do you want to know? Yes.
Yes. Please tell.
There's probably two that stick out. So when I was working for Meat at Billy's, for Father's Day, he gave me a Security Foods 9-score brisket. And I think back then they were sort of retailing for about $300, and it was about sort of 8 years ago. So it was the most. It would have been 8 kilos, eight and a half, something like that. It was crazy, absolutely crazy, and it was just the best. And I cooked it with my boys for Father's Day, and that's really what made it. But it was far and away the richest thing. Like, man, I had one slice and I was fucked. It was just absolutely over the top, and I think it was just really full because I would never spend that kind of money on a brisket. I know lots of people do, and that's fine, but for me personally, not. But I'd have to say, if you're asking the favourite cook I've done and the reason why, it would have been Christmas just gone actually. So, which I feel like I've talked about. I don't know if I have, but my son was up from Melbourne, so as they were chefing, and it was at my partner's house, and I was cooking for her parents for the first time. And they're not huge on cooking and not huge on sort of making a big deal, but we always like to make a big deal at Christmas. So we had I had the Kamado, I had a hibachi, and I bought a little pellet smoker at Christmas. So it was just like this little square carry around smoke thing. Yeah. And it was just the boys and I just sort of doing everything. So I did hot smoked salmon on the Kamado. I did, and then did the ham. Did the ham on the Kamado as well, and put the rub on a couple of chickens and chucked that in the pellet smoker and just let it do its thing. My pellet smoker is possessed though; it actually wants to fucking catch fire. It's if you press the knob the wrong way at the wrong time, it literally the temperature just keeps going. So and nearly burns things down. So I had to fuck around with that about 3 or 4 times, and then I managed to get hold of some quail from Billy, and so my son, who's obviously better cook than me, did this beautiful sort of this Asian caramel with chili and garlic, and he just skewered these quail, and he's just doing it on the hibachi and just brushing. It was just one of the best things I've ever eaten in my life, and but to be honest, like being able to, when I first started Jackalope's Catering, it was my sons that were, sort of working with me. They were 15 or 16, and then about 2021, I think it was, he came up from Melbourne, and I was doing food service stuff with Ironwood, and we're out at the Mount Crosby Bolo once a month doing that, and he managed to come in, and we managed to do one more food service, and I bloody had a tear in my eye at the end of it, and thought, well, that's probably the last time that's going to happen, where we're going to commercially do it. And then, but anytime we have the opportunity for us to get together, which is not, when he's living in another state, it's not as often as I'd like. So, I always try and, just make sure we're cooking something. But because it was Christmas, to be able to get out all the gear and just go all out and just do whatever we wanted, like that always sticks with me. So I think it's, like you said with your wife, I think, it's, being able to do that for my kids and do it for the people I love. Yeah. They say, if you've read Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential, but he says that cooking for someone is the second most selfless thing you can do. Yeah. And the first one's oral sex, but it's
I hope my missus watches this episode.
Yeah. Well, he actually says that in the book, he's like, the second most selfless thing you can do, and you think, oh yeah, and the first one's oral sex, because but it's true. It's a way, and it's like you say, for a lot of blokes that maybe aren't as confident talking about how it's a way of actually expressing that they care about this person. So me being able to cook like that is what brings me the most joy, and that was probably the best one. So probably the most recent big one. There you go.
No, that's good. I like it.
It's awesome sharing your cooks with your family, especially when you nail it and they're all sitting around and there's silence because it's so good. Like it's brilliant. Yeah.
And my partner's
you don't need to sit there going, you like it?
Yeah. My partner's mum's looking around going, what is going on here? Like, my sons have got crazy knife work and better than me, and there's shit, it's just, that she'd not seen anything like it. And then, but she's like a sparrow. I think she had like one little thing. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Another thing in. So it was, so we had ham for days. I think I've still got some quail in the freezer, funnily enough. So, given the price of that, I better cook that.
I was just thinking about this before. Like when you go to a barbecue or something, I cooked this barbecue one night for my wife's dad and his mates, and I'm standing there cooking the barbecue, and not one person come over and talk to me, and I was like standing there thinking to myself, I don't think I've ever been to a barbecue where someone's cooking and I haven't gone up to that barbecue and I'm standing there talking to them that whole time. Like my hand might be reaching over to try and grab the tongs and stuff. just let me turn something.
You may
I've never been to a barbecue where I've never gone up and just stood there. Yeah. It's like, can someone just come stand here and just talk to me?
Don't tell me what to do, but just stand there.
Just stand there.
Yeah. Watch me flip these burgers.
Yeah.
Put them back down.
There's just something about it. Like I've been to so many barbecues and like all the blokes are just standing around the barbecue.
That's what you do.
Like, every one of them just standing
like
there just talking,
King
drinking.
of the Hill.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, just
that's what you do.
Yeah.
No, I remember one with my ex and her friends, and they brought their husbands around, and it was like that. I'm just sitting over there, and I'm like, what is even happening? Like, just not my people, just not my people at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not, But yeah, it's anyway. Yeah, I agree with that. It's just a social aspect that makes it great.
Absolutely.
So,
that's right.
Don't know about reaching for the tongs, like I think it, but
Yeah,
may as well reach my hand directly down their pants, mate. If I'm going to go and try grab their tongs, it's same.
Some of them,
same reason.
some people though, when they cook a barbecue, you're looking at it and you're like, "You going to turn that at all?"
Yeah.
Or they're overturners. It's like, just let it cook, please.
Yeah,
Stop turning it.
I am the worst. I'm sitting there like, well, I think I told you. There's the classic is the pastrami video I've got with Alana Lowe's, who's funny enough is on MasterChef at the moment. So.
Yeah.
Didn't even know. It turns out it's the second time. I didn't even know she was on the first time. I had no idea who she was. But and the pastrami video, it's just got me going, and then it cuts, and I've got the fucking knife, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I didn't realise I was doing it. But I try my best. But it's funny, like I always try and be just nice and humble and appreciative when people cook for me. Because I've noticed that people get a bit freaked out and I don't like it. Like I sit there and think, fuck, just cook, dude. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
But I think people get a bit freaked out because my sons and I, we actually critique each other, pretty honestly.
Yeah.
And, so that was there. And so I remember my partner came around for dinner the first night and my son Jarvis cooked for me and he's like, oh, so how was it? And she's like, oh, it was lovely, thanks. And he's like, looking at me like, what do you think? And I'm like, well, and she's like,
Jesus, you can't do that.
You actually really want to know. And I'm like, and then of course she's like, well, I'm not ever cook. I'm like, no. I would never, ever, so it's like if people have taking the effort to cook for me, then I'm going to be appreciative and eat it, and I'm not going to judge. So that's
that's exactly right.
Yeah, it'd be a blessing to have someone cook for you as well. I remember not last Anzac Day, the Anzac Day before that. Every Anzac Day, you have dawn service. Although this year was cut short because of the rain, but. There's always like the local Lions Club always do like a sausage sizzle on Anzac Day after the march, and my mate at the time who was the sub manager of the pub who sponsored the sausage sizzle for the Anzac Day happened to see me rolling into the march and said, "Do you want to come over and man the barbecue?" And I'm like, "No, fuck no." No thanks. No. I'm not standing here on Anzac Day flipping sausages. Can't. I am honestly sick of cooking. I just want to get to 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and go for a beer and get hammered. Sometimes it's really good to have someone else cook. Like and nothing against my missus, but we don't live together and don't see each other every day. That's why I don't mind cooking when she's over because one, I love cooking, and two, like. I think she knows that it feels like she'd be insulting me if she wanted to cook. And I'm like, trust me, if you want to cook, that'd be mint.
Yeah.
It's funny how you get pigeonholed into that when you do something like I'm a butcher by trade. So whenever there'd be like, my brother used to do a lot of lamb on the spit, full lambs. He used to do them a lot, all the time. And then I'd get roped into having to cut the fucking thing up. Like I'd just be rolling in for a regular party or regular gathering. So to bring it on, like, for what?
I feel like you just showed up for work.
All right, no worries.
Where's your apron?
I had one little thing. I'd keep all the good bits off to the side and all the bits I wanted over here. Have a little pile of my own shit.
Those little sweet bits off to the side.
That's it.
The old butcher's tax.
Yes.
Like if you're doing a pig on the spit, those jowls, they're coming with me, mate. Those cheeks, they're my little sweet treats, mate. So
bloody oath. Anything that was gooey, I fucking off to the side.
I never told you. I think my kids were like 15 before they realised that chickens had thighs. So it was it's just fucking. I'd carve it up and then on my plate straight away, and then They have all the drummies in the world, but those thighs are mine. So,
What's the question to everyone? What is the most out of the box cook that you've done? That's sort of not a regular menu item for the local or the average barbecuer. Could be a combination or just a particular cut of meat.
People. No,
yeah, bloody butchers, man. Bloody butchers. Now I know you're a butcher. Yeah. That's
I cooked a pig head on my charcoal char-grill acorn a couple of years ago, and that was cheap as fuck. Like the pig heads were, I think it was like they're $10 or $12 each at this warehouse butcher, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna grab one. It's like could make a good video, see how it's all about, and tell you what, the cheeks, unbelievable. Probably some of the best pork that I've eaten, and it surprisingly was just unreal. But that was a first for me, and like just. I think everyone sort of gets a little bit intimidated. My missus didn't like watching the video, especially with the eyes still rolling around and the snout and everything.
We used to cut the eyes out.
There's a lot of underrated meat.
We used to cut the eyes out so you don't fucking scare the customers.
Honestly, I think it was the only head in the. There was about 6 or 7 of them at the butcher shop, just down the road, or just out of town from me, and it was the only head with the eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah. I should have got 2.
Big in the Mediterranean world, Italians and Greeks.
Yeah,
you can do a lot with it too. I just cut it up and picked it and shredded it like a old Woolies chook, but it was the jowl meat was unreal.
Fucking bachelor's handbag pig's head, mate. There you go. So
yeah, it's a new thing.
Your fucking hot chicken bag.
I would dare say a whole pig head would be probably cheaper than the old Woolies chook nowadays. Nearly anyway.
No, I've done it, and there's plenty of meat in it, mate. It's surprising how much meat's in it.
Yeah.
We used to sell them for $3 back in the day.
Yeah.
Pig's heads.
Yep.
We used to throw the eyeballs against the wall, and you'd race them down the wall. Like, all the butchers and apprentices, each peg one at the wall, and then see who could get to the ground first, or could stay on the wall longest.
That is good.
Bloody butchers, man.
It's a cunt of a job, so you got to do something to entertain yourself.
Well, I don't know if I told you the story. I was working at Billy's. There was this one who was just a bit unhinged, and I sort of went to him one day, and I'm like, because he's breaking down lamps, and I'm sitting there going, "Do you ever think about?" And he's like, "Yep." And I'm like, "Well, you didn't know it. I didn't know what I was going to say. You didn't know what I was going to say." And he goes, "You're going to ask me if you ever thought what it'd be like to break down a person?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, that's what I was going to say." And he's like, and he answered before he knew exactly what he was going to ask me. And yes,
honestly, I need therapy. I honestly thought that was going to go. What's you ever thought about fucking rooting one?
Oh God!
I was like, hang on, how does he know?
It's like the old Rodney Rood, have a porgy. So
yeah,
I reckon every butcher's thought about it on some level. So I'm fairly certain. No. I'm pretty sure I can find out a person. Easy enough.
It's like he's talking about, because obviously when you hang up the lamb, it's got the Achilles, and it's the one thing you learn when you're around a butcher shop is most animals are pretty much the same. It's all the same, just different shapes and lengths, and so the same joints, the same bloody and then
same muscles.
I couldn't look at him without having the feeling of like a hook through my Achilles, what that'd feel like. Like it's just, I'm sitting there going, Jesus Christ, man, gave me, and he had this tiny little thing that was just razor, just for breaking down. But there you go.
Yeah, we're special people.
Done pig's head, but I feel like probably maybe quail is probably the weirdest thing I've done. I guess I've done. Bit of roux, bit of that kind of stuff. Oh, when I was a kid, we did goanna. That's but that's just because we caught a fucking goanna. But which is tastes like chicken. It's
can't say that I've tried to cook anything too weird.
I don't think I have.
Pretty
sure I haven't.
Tried to cook a brisket rolled up on a spit, covered in pork crackle. But I fucked it up because it fell off the thing, and
I've seen that idea. That looks unbelievable.
I fucked it up so bad that I was gonna actually smother myself with it.
Yeah.
Actually,
Actually,
so shit.
if you ever get the opportunity to down Adelaide, if you can ever find someone that's selling Brahman humps, I actually
Yes, yes.
I've seen a few cooks with.
They're a bit of a craze. What about 7 or 8 years ago? There's a real craze on that. And they're just this big marbled bloody glob of.
Man, it looks like a big piece of fat.
Yeah.
It was. They're not bad. And they, from memory, it's going on 2-3 years now, I reckon, since I've done mine. They were fairly cost friendly at the time.
It looks rich
compared to brisket.
It looks like it tastes rich, like it's gonna leave a gloss on the back of your tongue.
It's sort. I mean, I guess it sort of depends on the cow itself. The one that I did wasn't exactly overly fatty, but it obviously definitely more fattier than your brisket. But the flavour was, it's sort of like, beef cheeks and some like stuff like that. It's not gamey, like, but it's just richer than your standard brisket. But yeah, I from memory I rated it very highly at the time.
I know as they went through a bit of a craze, and of course, like the bloody, the hammers, which is just fucking beats in, price goes crazy.
Oh yeah,
and all of a sudden it becomes a thing, and you think, you've got influence to blame for that, mate. Don't post it. Don't post it. No one knows about it.
That's right. Keep it yourself.
Oh, mate, when I first started butchering, we used to throw lamb shanks in the fucking dog bones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, insane.
Mate, look at lamb cutlets are fucking, people just, you'd have to crumb them. You'd have to crumb lamb cutlets to eat them, and now they're fucking like $70-$80 a kilo at butchers. It's, wild time.
Same as something as simple as lamb necks. Even they're creeping up now.
Well, the old fella who retired now, all he does is spend his days at the local bowler and plays bowls and drinks beer. He used to own the butcher shop in town, and we got to talking one day about it was about brisket. He's like, mate, we never even used to advertise that we sold brisket. We just used to take it home to the dogs, and now it's fucking hard to find brisket under $20 a kilo somewhere.
As a kid, it was corn brisket. Always corn brisket. That was rolled in corn.
Rolled. I was about to say, when I first started, a full brisket wasn't a thing, mate. It was always rolled. We'd roll it for roast or pickling.
Yeah, and that American craze came in, or again, it's probably an influencer thing on some level, and now it's one of the shittest part of the cows turns into one of the top 3 most expensive parts of the cows, and depending on the type of cow, like you get a Wagyu brisket, as you said before, I would never ever spend $300 on a brisket. Ain't no fucking way. But crazy how something that you've got to cook so long to break the fat down to make it tender and edible is literally the price of it.
I'll be
wild old time.
I'll be controversial and say I probably prefer shorties to brisket anyway. So
yeah,
I would say the same.
I agree.
Yeah, I love it. It's so good, just so beefy and just plow it with SPG to really get that salt mixes with the fat.
Oh yeah,
beautiful.
It's definitely got that distinctive flavour too on the short ribs.
No, I dig it. So
you
get a bit more of that jelly in it too.
Yes. Exactly.
That's the good stuff.
If you want to, what did you say before? You want to cover yourself in it, so you can.
Yeah, that's it.
So, exactly. I'll tell you what, I don't know if we're going for a cook around your house. I don't know. So is it just walk out the patio with fucking plastic, the fucking floor, everything's just, are you ready? Let's go.
I'm coming out looking like Lady Gaga with the fucking meat dress.
Buffalo Bill.
Sam Smith.
Oh God.
All right, let's end it here. Before it gets morbid. All right, mate. Thanks for coming on again.
Oh, anytime, mate. Anytime.
You're always welcome. Anytime.
Yep. Well, whenever you're ready, mate, I'll be ready to come back and we can talk footy or whatever it is, or barbecue.
We'll undoubtedly talk footy.
Yes.
Why not, mate? Why not? The Blues are up.
Yeah.
Back on.
Do a wrap up every couple of weeks.
The lid's off.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The footy corner.
We should do a wind back episode where we pick our fucking favourite games or moments.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I got
heaps. Do that.
We could just do favourite sporting moments in general too.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yep. We could even find clips and play clips. That'd be good.
Oh yeah, heaps good.
Now you're talking.
Write
Just
that down.
exclusive to YouTube instead of putting it on Spotify and people are like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah. All our blind listeners going, what a goal.
Fucking just use interpretive dance or something on Spotify or whatever's going. So,
yeah.
What you should be doing is when you get together, we'll do a show and you guys can reenact the sports moments. Then you'll have something.
Oh yeah.
Oh, could you imagine?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd have to. I don't know if I can reenact.
Who's going to do John Hopewati?
We did John Havawati fucking last time we got together. It wasn't even a reenactment.
Yeah.
Didn't even realise we were doing it.
Best Australia day ever.
Mate, what he's up to these days, man, he'd probably come and do it himself for $50. So,
Yeah, probably.
All right, guys, we're out of here.
All right, boys.
All right, catch you all next time.
Bye.
See you later.
See you guys.
Peace out.
Bearded Mafia Podcast, yo, this raw. Rob Man